You know what everybody else should check out if they're watching this already? If they've made it this far, they should continue to check out the rest of We've Got Issues. The semi-regular, trying to be more regular, news segment covering everything from the past week in the world of comic books and comic book related media, everything.
A
Um,
comic book.
what?
Speaking of comic books,
Well,
what kind of news is
that, though, who you are hearing right now is, of course, my amazing co-host, Fizza.
hello?
There you go. And I am, as always, Evan. So, hi. So, speaking of comics, what's up?
I was just asking. Speaking of comics, what's the news?
Oh, so okay. So this time we're covering everything between the weeks. Of, sorry, the week of the 13th through the 20th. Is that right? Is that how you do that? Yes. Okay. Here we go.
Ah, the days are counting.
Buckle in, people. It's going to be a fun one.
Hey,
Um,
hey, actually, have you read any Future State?
no, I'm holding off until like they start releasing them in collections.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, I'm aware of it. I know what it is, but yeah,
I read the first issue of the Aquaman Future State. Loved it.
ah, what did you think?
Thought it was great. It was really interesting.
Cool, cool. Nice.
I haven't read any other Future State, mostly because from what I've read, a lot of the other Future State isn't very cohesive. Um, so I was sticking with what I had heard was good so far.
I
But
mean, you always got to stick with what's good, right? Otherwise,
I mean,
what's
unless
the
you're
point?
bored, and then you can read everything.
Sure, sure. Uh, well, in news that will hopefully not bore you,
Ooh, what kind of news is not going to be boring?
the upcoming season of Titans, which I believe this would be season 3,
Season three.
awesome, has cast Joy LaCurga as a new Robin, Tim Drake. Um,
Okay.
so they're already introducing Tim Drake. Will be played by Tim LaCuga, of course. Jason.
What is he in it?
So he hasn't been. I did a quick search on him. To be honest, he hasn't been in an awful lot.
Probably good. I like when I see new
Yeah,
actors.
and Titus has seemed to be doing that. They are casting a lot of still relatively unknowns, which is good because then you get to, you know, you get to meet them as those characters as opposed to like be like, oh, I
Yeah.
recognize that person or such and such.
Quick Titans question: who do you think is
So,
best cast so far?
sorry, what?
Quick Titans question: who do you think is best cast so far? The best casting they've done for Titans.
Honestly, I both, I have a love hate relationship with that show. Um,
Who doesn't?
but I think that the casting for all the roles are it was really really well done. But if I had to pick one, and it's hard for me, probably I believe her name is Connor Leslie. I think she's the one playing Wonder Girl.
No, no, yes, 100%. I agree with that one.
And the interesting thing is, I just checked out this really old show called Other Space.
She used to be on Other Space.
Yeah, she was a computer AI.
Wow, I don't
Yeah.
remember. All I remember mostly about that show is the episode with the time dilation and the fact that two people from MST3K were on it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun little series. You can now check it out on Dust. Um,
It's on what now?
Dust is apparently a new free streaming platform kind of tailoring more towards science fiction. It's got a bunch of originals, and it's now the exclusive home of that show.
To Netflix because it's a really good show, and more people
Yeah.
see it. I never even heard of that.
Well, I looked up where I could see it, found out it was on this platform, found out the platform was free. I'm like, okay, it's all science fiction stuff. I'm like, perfect. Sounds right up my alley. Install.
About it, right?
What?
Is that going to promote it? Give us money for promoting it?
They should be. If you're watching this, whoever owns that channel, sign up. Let us promote you. Anyways, but so back to so he's going to be joining this show as Tim Drake, of course, the current Robin in Titans. Jason Todd is gonna. It's already been revealed is gonna move on to the Red Hood persona in season 3, and Savannah Welsh has, of course, already been.
Spoilers before you started any of this.
What?
I said, I guess you should have said spoilers before you started any of this.
None of it's spoilers.
I mean, all of it is spoilers, right?
I mean,
Tim Drake is being added to the cast. The fact that Jason is going to be Red Hood, that's all spoilers. For those who weren't expecting to know what's going to happen next season on Titans.
okay, sure, I guess. Okay, so
You know.
so I should warn everyone, get it out of the way now. This will be a very spoiler-heavy episode. If you don't like spoilers, what are you doing here? Okay, so Savannah Welsh is also, of course, already been confirmed as playing the Gotham wheelchair-bound police commissioner, Barbara Gordon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And you were asking before what Jay LaCouga has been in. He's been in a couple of episodes of a TV show called I May Destroy You. And he's playing a thug in the upcoming Robert Pattinson's The Batman.
Playing a thug?
A thug. Not a huge role, but he'll...
Every role is a big role.
Exactly. Similar news. Netflix has announced the casting of their Sandman upcoming TV adaptation show. The lead, Dream, will be played by Tom Sturridge, who is best known for appearing in the Richard Curtis comedy The Boat That Rocked, as well as apparently he has a huge theater background, so I'm sure that will come in nicely. Lucifer, this is interesting. Gwendolyn Christie from Game of Thrones, and of course she played the dome-plated stormtrooper in the latest bunch of Star Wars movies. She's playing Lucifer.
Yeah.
And Lucien, the chief librarian, is being played by Vivian Akimage, who was in The Witches. The Cornuthian is being played by Boyd Holbrook, who was in the TV version of Narcos. Abel is being played by Azam Chowdhury, who was in People Just Do Nothing, and Kane is being played by Sanjeev Bassar, who was in the BBC two-sketch comedy series Goodness Gracious Me, as well as in the sitcom The Kumars at number 42. So there you go. In other related Sandman news, apparently the Audible thing has been a huge success, and it's gotten a green light for Acts 2 and 3, and this is much more a straight-up adaptation of the comics. Acts 2 is going to cover Season of Mist, Distant Mirrors, A Game of You, and Convergence, and Act 3 will adapt Brief Lives and Wolves World's Ends. And Visa, I know that you're the big Sandman fan here. What do you think?
Sounds interesting. World's End is my favorite volume.
Nice. So you're looking forward to that then. So, I know that this is also turning into a list episode. This is the list and spoiler episode, apparently. DC just this past week announced 11 new titles coming in 2021 for the very first time. We know pretty much nothing on any of them, but we're getting a Deathstroke Inc. comic, a Harley Quinn animated series sequel comic. I'm not so a sequel to the current TV show. What I a Wonder Woman 80th anniversary title, an Elseworlds title.
One shot like they do with everyone.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not a title. It's just gonna be like a.
Yeah, Elseworlds is apparently going to focus on the new DC Omniverse thing, which and a bunch of others. So a whole bunch of titles.
I saw the DC Vampire, new Robin series.
Yeah, Robin and Batman, Joker, a puzzle box.
Batman. Well, they're not bringing back Legend of the Dark Knight. They're doing Legend of Batman, right?
Yeah, which actually, now that you say that, I think is kind of like going to be done in a similar fashion to Legend of the Dark Knight. So it's like not an anthology, but different creative teams on that one.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Crush and Lobo. And then DC Middle Ages, I guess, whatever that one is.
Nubia is getting her own comic book.
Yes, new, yeah, yeah. Introduced in.
I don't look like anyone else is getting their own books with Nubia, right?
That's part of the reason why I'm honestly holding off on DC Future State, because I honestly think that once it all wraps in March, like none of it's going to matter. Like that'll be it. It'll be this interesting thing they did for a couple months, and then,
I think they'll probably pull a couple of characters out of
sure.
it. That's about it.
Like the non-binary Flash, I'm sure will make it into the current day DC continuity, or some stuff. But the chunk of it, I think, is just. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it's basically a holdover from when Dan DiDio was still running DC. So,
I mean, you can't fault it. DC's basically been doing this for decades now. Crazy, weird events,
Sure.
comics, things like that. Like where it's just like strange things that happen. I remember I went through this like obsessive phase of collecting. One year DC did all the annuals for year one stories. And I went on this obsessive thing where I try to collect all the year one annuals, so I could read all the stories
Huh.
for DC that year. They just do weird things sometimes.
And this is another weird thing that they're doing. So,
I'm oh, I'm down for them trying something new, but I'm not sure I'm okay with the Omniverse as a whole. What do you think of that concept?
The idea of the omniverse, that everything matters.
Yeah, well, or nothing. Nothing matters though at the same time.
Right. You can
That's
kind of just.
So let me just throw you out my problem with the Omniverse. There's no like what's cool about
Before you start, let me just quickly ask: is there a way for you to increase your mic's volume? You sound kind of.
is not
Okay.
my old headset. But I was gonna say like my big problem with the Omniverse, and I'm not a hater on anything new. I like new stuff, but my problem with it is if everything matters and nothing matters kind of thing, it's kind of weird because what's cool about things like Elseworlds stories are they're an alternate to what's established. So
Right.
what everything is established, then there's no definitive
Version.
of Superman, right?
Right.
So
Then
you're
every Superman is the Superman.
so do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Make a
I
reflection of there's no one to parody. There's no one to
right.
say, well, if this is the established version of Superman, we're gonna make Nazi Superman. But if Nazi Superman's just as valid as regular Superman, then what's the point?
And that's
That's just how I feel.
yeah, and
I'm not saying it shouldn't be done. I'm just saying it just feels like it'll diminish.
I mean we haven't really seen them use the Omniverse idea that much yet, so we'll see. But yeah, so far I agree with you. It feels like something that DC decided to do as a guttural response to having fans for the past 5 or 10 years basically being like, this isn't my Superman, this isn't my Batman, this isn't my stories, whatever. Whether it be the new 52 or then with reboots or whatever. So, I mean, the image in my head, which is, not saying it's what actually happened, but the image in my head is basically like the guy at top of DC basically being like, fine, you know what? it all matters. Whatever Superman you like, he's there. So's all the other ones. Plenty of stuff for everyone.
I understand the mentality of just saying,
Yeah, no, yeah.
that'll make everyone happy, but or in theory, it'll make everyone happy. But
I don't think it's going to even make everyone happy because the problem is exactly what you just said. So it's not even going to make everyone happy.
yeah, I mean, I don't know though, because comic book characters have changed so much, not just as time has gone on, but based on what's going on in the world around us. Like the characterization of, for instance, Tony Stark over at Marvel Comics is completely different now that there's an MCU than it was before because he was
Sure, but there's been a long history of media and comics kind of taking things.
I'm just saying, my point is that I'm not saying that these characterizations are static to begin with, but to have nothing there to be the
definitive
prime universe
right
version of, then it gets I don't know. I feel like it's just not going to be. I don't know how to put this. I feel like there's not going to be as much interesting stories because there's not going to be a version that we could all sit around and talk about as Batman. We can't all sit around and say, "Oh, Batman's so broody," because the Batman I think of as Batman might be completely different than the Batman someone else thinks of as Batman. And their Batman isn't broody; he's loud and obnoxious. But they're both talented persons. Anyway,
well if you're having a difficult time with the whole idea of the Omniverse, brace in because there are 2 more stories related to DC's new Omniverse.
Oh, what's up?
So feels like forever in development. We'll see if it actually ever comes out. It's currently got a tentative 2022 release date. The Flash movie with Ezra Miller has cast its what?
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Has cast its Supergirl. So Supergirl is going to make her big screen debut. She's going to be played by Sasha Cal, who before this was primarily in The Young and the Restless. And this will mark the first time. What?
I said I enjoy soap opera acting.
And this will be I can barely hear you, dude. And this will be the first time that the character is being played by a Latina. So instead of the usual go-to blonde-haired, blue-eyed Caucasian woman, I mean, personally, I think it's great. Diversity is always a good thing. Of course, it's interesting to contemplate the fact that, of course, originally the Flash was supposed to be paired with Cyborg, and obviously that's no longer happening. So a part of me wonders if the reason why Supergirl was even put into the script is because they needed someone once Cyborg was sort of taken out.
And as I was saying, I like soap opera actors. They usually try very hard.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
where everyone's favorite vampire slayer started.
Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Yeah.
Didn't know that. The other Omniverse. Ah! Everybody's been in a soap. The other Omniverse related thing is DC is launching Batman and Superman digital first series comics focusing on the old movies. So they are launching Superman 78 and Batman 89. Both will be part of their digital first comic book formats. And they will be focusing on, of course, a Christopher Reeve and Michael Keaton version of the characters set in those respective universes. Superman 78 is going to be set between the first and second film and is going to be written by Rob Vedenti with art by Wilfredo Torres. And perhaps what I think is a more interesting one, Batman 89 will act as in continuity to Batman and Batman Returns' third film, thus completely erasing Schumacher's film, with Michael Keaton, Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, more of the originally planned exploration of Billy D. Williams' Harvey Dent into Two-Face, and the debut of a new Robin. It is written by Sam Hamm, who was, of course, the co-writer of the first two Michael Keaton Batman movies, with art by Joe Quanos. And both will be digital first, premiering in the summer. What do you think of this?
I don't know. DC's got this really weird business model from my point of view here. Like they're giving us comic books equal to movies that most of us weren't born when they came out, and then they're also giving us comic book characters that take place, in the far-flung future state. Like it
Well, don't
seems
forget
like
that Michael Keaton himself is going to be. Don't forget that Michael Keaton himself is set to reprise his version of Batman in the Flash movie.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I just feel like DC seems like it doesn't know what fan base it wants to hit or who its fans are. Like, does it want like those 50, 60-year-old people or who are like, oh, I remember Batman when he was Adam West? Do they want those 20 or 30-year-old people who are like, oh, I remember Batman when he was Michael Keaton? Like, who are they? Do they want like the young crowd who are like, I want something totally new?
Well, of course, this is.
Who do they want?
Of course, this is part of the issue that we talked about earlier with the whole idea of the omniverse, right? Every version of Batman doesn't even have to be an Elseworlds or a comic book version. Every version of Batman in any medium now exists in sort of the same omniverse. So yeah, so somewhere, according to DC's continuity, Adam West Batman, Michael Keaton's Batman, and I guess the comic book version of Batman are all like having a bat sandwich together somewhere because it all exists. Which again means that they can put out material that's targeted to different age demographics, like you were talking about. But of course, the other, which is great, everybody has a favorite version of Batman. Everybody should be able to enjoy their favorite version. But like at the same time, like if there's 5,000 Batmans, then all of a sudden what's unique about the character?
Also, like they're putting digital downloads for the old stories, and I guess they're expecting that the 56-year-old people who know who Adam West was are going to be downloading things. I mean,
Well,
maybe
just to
some
be
people
clear,
are
it's not
downloading.
Adam West, it's uh Superman.
It doesn't really matter. I'm just saying, like the old version of these characters. I just
Well,
feel like they're
I mean, I'm slightly interested in checking them out, and I'm certainly not 60. The To
I don't even
me,
know
the
what movies
Christopher
are out.
Reeve version of Superman is like
Have
that's
you tried watching those movies?
yeah. I watch them at least once a year. I love them. They're my that to me is my Superman. Always has been.
Those movies are boring as hell.
See, I totally disagree. I think that they're fantastic. I love
I
them.
can't sit still for any one of them anymore. Like they're just God.
Well,
Only some older.
let us know in the comments if you agree with Bizza and that they're all completely overrated, or if you agree with
I
me
didn't say
and
they're
that they're
all
the best thing
overrated.
since sliced bread.
I like how you like take offense of something and you're like, ah.
What?
No, I didn't say they're all overrated. I just said like I get bored at it. Like I can't sit through those old movies. They're boring to me.
Well, what do you think of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier in the MCU? Are they boring?
I haven't seen. Well, it hasn't come out yet.
But I mean, they've both existed so far in the movies. Do you enjoy those characters?
Do I enjoy the characters? Oh, okay.
They were in Civil War. They were been in a few Avengers. You haven't seen the show yet.
I'm a big fan of the Winter Soldier and the comic book, so I'm definitely up to watch Winter Soldier TV show. I don't know about you.
I yeah, I was looking forward to it, and now having seen 7 episodes of WandaVision and what they did there, yes, I am very, very much looking forward to checking this show out.
I have a theory that both these two shows are going to lead right into the next, and like
Movies, yeah.
not just like sort of lead into the next
No, they're like
movie. I
WandaVision's
think they're
going
going to be
head
like,
first directly into Doctor Strange too.
I think they're going to be like jumping right from those stories
Yes,
into Doctor Strange. In my
yeah.
opinion, I don't know if that's going to actually happen, but that's what I think.
Well, they said that.
Oh, did they? I
Yes,
don't.
WandaVision is going to go directly into Doctor Strange too, and considering that this movie people are responsible for both, like I believe them. This isn't an Agents of Shield type situation where there are two different departments working completely on two different things.
Yeah, that was bad. That field is no longer
But
around.
anyways, regarding the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, uh, the
I'm
showrunner,
excited for it.
the showrunner has uh, stated some interesting things in an interview um, that I will now quote, putting on my best quoting voice.
Okay, absolutely.
When you start to see the direct impact that a black superhero had on my nephew, talking about the Black Panther movie that was released recently, this branded on my brain. I believe that Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a nice progression with the mantle that Black Panther director Ryan Coogler and Chadwick Boseman left us. I really do believe that these giant black icons are necessary, not only for black kids, but for white kids to start to absorb our people as being big and heroic. It was really empowering. After hearing for the first 15 years of my career that being black meant you had to only do niche things that were really small, to see black filmmakers and be one of them to be involved with projects that just appealed across every spectrum while remaining decidedly black. That's probably one of the best things about the path we took here. Of course, what he's referencing is that a big focus, again, spoilers, for Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to be tackling the public's reaction to Captain America being African American. Which
So,
I'm looking forward to.
Is he going to be playing the Falcon, or is he going to be playing Captain America?
Well, so we know at the end of the movies that Cap gave Falcon his shield, right?
Right.
And we know that at some point in the TV series, Falcon is going to take over the mantle of Captain America. We don't know if it's going to be in the first episode. Personally, what I'm imagining is that it'll be something similar to what they did when Falcon became Cap in the comic books, where, he has a slightly altered costume and he has the shield, but he also still has the wings.
So, yeah, my point, though, is in the show, it sounds like he's going to be Falcon and not going to be Captain America, because otherwise they would call the show Captain America.
Well, the show is about him becoming Captain America.
Okay. So, yeah, he's not going to become Captain America until, probably the end of the show.
Right. That's. I mean, they haven't stated, but that's definitely what I'm predicting. That the show will be about his journey to finally becoming Captain America, and then in whatever movie has him after that, he'll probably be Captain America. That is my guess.
I heard in the comics that they were going to turn. This might be just a rumor, but they were going to turn Miles into the next Falcon.
I heard that rumor. I know that there is an ultimate. I know that there is a new ultimate version of Falcon in the 616 universe. I'm not sure who it is. I don't think Miles is going to become Falcon. I think he's going to stay Spider-Man. But I think that is just a rumor.
I think because,
and Falcon is no longer Captain.
Falcon is Falcon again, right?
Right, yes. He's no longer Captain America. Steve Rogers is being in the comics, is back to being Captain America. So
many people have been Captain America.
This is true. In the comics, yeah, absolutely. Which we might do a special on at some point. Let us know if you're interested. All the people that have had the Captain America mantle in the comics. So moving on, I know we kind of already touched on this briefly in this week's episode of your show, Fizza, but I just wanted to reiterate here that the showrunner for Black Lightning has confirmed that if the Painkiller pilot goes to series, that both Thunder and Lightning will be a part of that series, as well as reconfirming that this current season of Black Lightning is indeed the last.
I'd just rather see another Lightning series. I don't need no Painkiller.
Well said. And then to close out this week's episode, got some really somber news for you. I have the unfortunate honor of informing you that comic book and TV writer Cy Spencer has passed. Are you familiar with him? I certainly am.
Books of Magic, maybe?
He wrote Books of Magic, Life During Wartime. He wrote Hellblazer, City of Demons. He wrote a whole bunch of different comics for both DC and 2000 AD. And he worked as a writer and editor on shows like EastEnders, which I know you're a fan of.
I wouldn't say I'm a fan, but I've watched EastEnders.
Anyway, so that's, yeah, our thoughts go out to his friends and family. He's had a long history in comic books. I was not aware of his history working in the TV field as well, but I was
Do you have
certainly
any
a fan of a lot of his comic book
recommendations?
work, so it's
Do you
unfortunate.
have any recommendations of his work you like to share?
Uh, Books of Magic, Life During Wartime, and Hellblazer. Definitely check out Hellblazer City of Demons. I mean, that goes without saying.
I'm a big fan or I used to be a big fan of Books of Magic.
Yeah.
That's
So,
an interesting series.
did you
For those
hear?
out there,
Speaking of rumors, did you hear that there's a rumor that Hellblazer might be getting a new TV series on HBO Max? I didn't put it in here because it's just a rumor, but
with the same actor?
no, different actor.
Aw.
If right, that's why I hope that it's not true, or that if it is true, they keep the same guy because he's just you know.
Is he still on that other show?
Legends of Tomorrow, I believe so. Yes, but I mean, if they like, he's been Constantine now for so long. First in the original show, then in the Arrowverse. He's done the voices for cartoons and animated movies. Like, I don't know. It just feels wrong to do another Hellblazer series and not use it.
I mean, they can do whatever they want. I just
This is true.
want to have him in a new series. 'Cause, his first series really didn't get a chance to shine.
No, it really didn't. I feel like it was on at the wrong time and the wrong channel. So for a show that basically a horror show. But yeah. Well, anyways, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit like, subscribe, and the bell notification down below so that you will be the first to know as soon as a new episode goes live. There will be new episodes of this weekly. And thank you so much for joining me tonight, Fizza. I know it was very, very last minute, so I appreciate it.
Sure.
How's your sushi?
For those out there who are looking for a book to read, I don't know if anyone is looking for a book to read because there is so much out there right now. But I have been reading a series, an independent series that I think is fantastic.
Okay.
I think I've mentioned it to you before. It is a book series revolving around cats.
Cats?
Cats. Do
Huh.
you like animals?
Yeah, I love animals.
Well, you're in luck then.
Okay.
Because there's this really weird and interesting independent comic book series
Huh.
called Beasts of Burden. And it's a story of Jill Thompson, who you probably know,
Yeah.
works on it, and it's a story about neighborhood pets
Hmm.
who basically have X-Files stories where they fight demons and monsters and like aliens and all sorts of
I'm loving the sounds of this. I'm going to have to check it out.
It's happening in the background of the suburbs.
Wow. That sounds right up my alley. There you go. I'm going to be checking it out. You should too.
It's fantastic. There are three, you get the collection, the three collections of the regular Beasts of Burden. And there's also a crossover issue. Let me see. Check out my. There's also one where they cross over with Hellboy.
All right. Awesome.
So if you're interested in that, they're not that long. They're like 200-page collections.
Okay. Well,
And then the 30-page Hellboy crossover.
nice. Definitely check that out. And from all of us here at We've Got Issues, I am not going to say it again. It's been clobbering time. How's that?